So we hooked up in 2015 back in the cell phone days, so it's good to see you in true living color.
Likewise, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to getting into the new music and what's going on. Um, before we do that, I want to begin with surviving a pandemic. That's probably been the major development since we spoke in 2015. How
Yeah.
did you get through that era, and how has it influenced the way that you create and live today?
Well, I mean, like for all of us, it was a very difficult time. Just being, in my case, all of my family's in Virginia, and my mother was very ill during that time. She actually passed away in 2020, not of COVID, but she had been in a steady decline and was in home hospice, and she passed away in November 2020. And I was at that time. This was before vaccines and everything, and of course the doctors were saying, "Well, don't come unless it's necessary," and because of the risk. So it was really hard. And then and also as a professor at City College, where I've been teaching for 13 years, we were like everyone in remote teaching. So being separated, from the students, and especially in music, where it's a communal experience, we can't get together to play, and you're trying to find ways to be creative over Zoom, create music. Um, so the isolation, I think, it just took its toll on everybody. A few months later, like many of us, I started to get some calls to, send in some tracks. People were putting music together, doing interviews, um, and staying in touch with people. Being in touch with some people, you hadn't talked to in many years, just to reach out and say, hey, how are you? You okay? So, we made the best of it. I think, though, we're still in recovery. Um, and my references in terms of live performances, I think we're back. For the most part, I think we are back. Of course, we lost some audiences through attrition and other things, other factors. Venues closed, but some are reopening now. New venues are opening. Um, we're just getting our numbers back up at school because our numbers were down. Some students didn't come back, and a lot of students, of course, were questioning whether they wanted to continue studying music. So it's we're not, I wouldn't say 100% back, but we're close to it. We're very close to it, and I'm very optimistic that we the human condition and the human spirit, we find a way to persevere and then elevate that to the next level. So I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah, for sure. So this wonderful new album is full of so many great players, such a great sound. Talk to me about the lineup and kind of what you were going for with your vision for the sound.
Yeah, well, these are tunes that I've known and listened to for many, many years, in some cases like 50 years. um, and they've always been with me. And so as I started thinking about what kind of record I wanted to do, it started as a more of a ballad concept. But then as the repertoire started to come into focus, I was like, no, this is not really a ballad record, but the focus was on lyricism. Um, these are beautiful melodies, lyrics, and the kind of melodies that stay with us. And it's not just so much about the soundtrack of your life, anything like that. Not, and that's cool too. But great music, like great art, has integrity. It stays with you. Um, so as this program started to come together, I started hearing these particular players for this program, and that started with Renee Rosnes, because Renee and I have been working together, known each other for over 35 years, and we've worked on each other's projects, and so she was the first one I thought about, not just to play on it, but to do the arrangements, because she's a brilliant musician, brilliant composer, arranger, and I had a certain soundscape in mind with this band. I didn't want it to be just a, hey, let's play some nice melodies and improvise. I wanted these arrangements to have real shape, um, and have a larger palette. So So I've heard each player for specific reasons. Joe Locke, again, who I've known for many years, and Joe and I have connected over the years on music that we both like, and we've worked on projects together. And Jay Anderson, who I've been working with for a number of years in Maria Schneider's orchestra. Jay has an amazing melodic approach to his accompanying on the bass, and he really provides a nice counterpoint and motion with his melodic playing that keeps the music moving forward. It keeps it moving. And with Kendrick Scott, I was looking for his sound because he knows how to paint. He really knows how to paint on his instrument. And then we added Kevin Newton from the Imani Winds on French horn because I was playing French horn on a couple of things, and he was just absolutely brilliant. My only regret is that we didn't include him on more of the record because he just sounds so beautiful and he adds so much to it. So it really went beyond my expectations in terms of what everybody brought and just the wonderful music they made together.
So, what are you hoping the listener gets from this album?
Yeah, well, that they're here that larger soundscape. They're here the sum of its parts. Not just each individual. Of course, each individual is brilliant, and of course the solos are wonderful. But to hear what we do together, and to hear the different shapes, the mood of the tunes, the melodies, because it is kind of cross generational. So we have, Milton Nascimento, Gino Vanelli, Quincy Jones. Um, so I think there's something in here for everybody. Eliana Elias. So we picked a wonderful program. So we hope that these two, first, the other thing is, these are not tunes that you hear all the time. And George Cables is in there with Helen's song, perhaps his best known composition, one of his best known anyway. But I think the listener will come away with music that will stay with them for a long time.
The one thing that is going on in America right now that's different from when we talked back in 2015 is that there's a lot going on,
Hmm.
with war and immigration and different things that are happening, and it's creating this level of tension in this country. But musicians have always operated as kind of a pressure valve release, helping people kind of escape
Yeah.
and get into the arts and feel good about being not only connected as a people, but just just feeling that feeling that comfort. Do you think about that more now with what's going on in the world?
Oh, absolutely. It was Maya Angelou that said, at times like this is when artists get to work. And, because this is our time where, because artists, we serve humanity. This is really a calling of service, not just to be creative, but to be mindful and conscious of what we're contributing to the world. And of course, yeah, there's space if one wants to make a statement, on the state of our civility. That's fine, because all of the great ones did it in their own unique way. Ellington was brilliant at it because he did it so eloquently, um, where he could make the statement and then draw everyone in at the same time, and that's another level. But in this case, and with this particular project, and getting back to your previous question, this is music and tunes that can speak to everybody, because I didn't consciously want it to be non-political, non-whatever. It's just great music that I wanted to play, and I felt that could move people, and could go beneath all of these other layers that separate us or differentiate us from each other. Um, so I think there's something here that can speak to everybody.
So, what are you doing for live shows to promote the album? We're getting into the warmer months. What's kind of going on with the itinerary?
Yeah, well, we have record release week at Smoke Jazz Club in New York. Of course, the recordings is for Smoke Sessions. So we've got the release there at the end of April, and we're working on a couple of other things that have just come in. Maybe another engagement in New York City, and we've got to have a couple of inquiries out of town. So we're now working it because we just, as it's about to drop. The publicity is just about to start, so we are now getting presenters aware, and so we hope to have more bookings with this in the coming months and next year.
So to pick up this album in physical or to download it, do you go through Smoke to do that? What's the best way to do that?
Yeah, you can go to the Smoke Sessions label. It'll also be available on Bandcamp in digital form, as well as some of the other places, Apple Music. But for the LP, you should go to Smoke Sessions Records, and you can actually pre-order. We just posted a Facebook last week, so you can pre-order the LP.
Excellent. Steve, so good to see you in living color. Thank you, sir. It's always a joy to talk to you. I love your music. It's an honor to always talk. So thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe. Look forward to seeing you in person sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Neon Jazz.